So we shall start by installation of Django. So for that, what you need to do first of all, you need to open up your command prompt in administrator mode and figure out whether Python is being considered as a valid. So you can see Python is being recognized over here. That is what was important. So now once Python is recognized, just check the pip version. So you can see there is a pip version of 19.2.3 installed on this machine. So we have got Python installed, we got pip installed. So now we can start or we can try to install Django over here. Okay. So now what is the command for installing Django? Now, Django has to be installed through this one basically, right? So we'll be going like Python. Remember, there is another thing I'd like to say over here. So there is something known as virtual environment, right? So if you have seen in PyCharm also, when you try to create something, it shows you an option for creating a virtual environment. So sometimes it is a good idea to install in virtual environment. Then what happens is basically that whenever you are trying to set up Django, it sets up separately. So every single time you're trying to set up, it will be setting up separately. So that is what you're trying to do. You can go for virtual environment. In case you were looking for installing in completely your machine, then you can go for your typical deployment, right? So that is how this particular thing works out basically. So you either go for setting a virtual environment first of all, and then install that within that, or else what you can do is that you can just go ahead and you can install this particular thing directly on your machine. So both of them are perfectly fine. That just depends which one you want to do. So let's say over here we'll be installing directly. So I'll go like Python m pip install Django. If I write it and press enter, since it is collecting Django. So you can see our this thing has been done. Actually, it is telling that I'm running a lower version of pip. It doesn't really require, but let us go ahead and update that. Python m pip install upgrade. Let's update the version of pip that I have. So I'm installing the older version. Now what we shall do, we shall start by creating a project. So now in this, I don't think I have D drive on this machine, so I have to use the C only. Inside C drive, I'll be probably creating a new. Acha, let me create. Let me come to C drive first of all. So let us come to C drive first, and over here, let's say I want to make a folder over here. Okay, I'm writing. I'm just using command prompt. You can write in that normally also. Right. Let me create a Django project folder. So create a folder, the name Django projects. I'll not put a hyphen, I'll just keep underscore. So I'll go to Django projects, right? And within that, I have to create one folder called project one. Right? So we are here. And once you're here, now what we shall be doing, see, we'll be going for actually creating. So typically I told you, right? So people create virtual environments. So if you're creating that, then you have to install Django in each of your projects. Every time you set up a project, you need to go ahead and you need to set up a Django for that, right? Anyway, the main idea is that let me show you how to do that anyway, in case you are willing to do so, right? So you have to come over here and write down Python 3. Normal Python is also work. Virtual environment venv. If you do so, now it is done. So now I can go for C source virtual environment in. Hang on a second, something went wrong. Here I have got to. Okay, hang on a second. Where is this? See, it has got created over here. Oh, it didn't create anything. Okay, I was expecting it to create something. I think it will be taking only Python. It created a folder, right? Yes, it created all these things. The Python 3 will not take here. Okay, and then we have to go for source is not working over here. Inside your virtual environment, there is no bin folder. Okay, lib folder is there, site packages. Okay, fine. So basically, now what happened? This particular folder that we created, this particular folder will support us with the virtual environment that we were actually looking for, right? So we have to run venv scripts, and within that it will be activate.bat. And here you see now this shell is coming telling that venv virtual environment and then ultimately your project name. Now this is what we are looking for. Within this, typically we have to install Django if we want to do in a virtual environment kind of situation. So now if I install Django over here, we've installed Django. What it will do, it will not look into the actual Django installation. It will take the Django installation only from this particular folder. You can see this creating once again, right? So remember the steps. First, you need to create a virtual environment. I mean, you may, and then you have to basically start it. All right. So you can see that this particular thing has been done, and once it is done, we can actually start a project. So the command for that is Django admin. Okay, Django admin start project, and then your project name. So let me call this project web project one. Nice. So now this has been your web project one, right? You can see over here, right? So this is basically how it is looking like. And there is a wonderful file known as manage.py. Now this manage.py is going to play a very big role in your entire this thing. Under this directory, there are a lot of files over here. Init file is there, ASJ settings file. So we should be playing with majorly with settings file a little bit, URLs file a little bit, and manage.py will be used for launching this application and things like that. So how we shall be starting? See, if we come back over here and I go like the folder structure got a little bit weird, but anyway, I'll just take out this manage.py outside, and I'll paste it outside over here. Okay, so I shall do that. What I shall do, see, I can write a command. I can cut and paste, but I'm simply writing a command just to show you that's it. So I have to move this guy outside. So I'll just take it like okay, AMV doesn't work over here. Fine. I just want to take this guy outside. That's it. Okay. I took this guy outside, right? And then whatever is there, these things, I want to take out one step back, maybe here. That's it. I will delete this. So basically, I just took everything out one step. That's it. Now I have to run this manage, right? So now see what happens if I run this particular one. So I have to write down Python manage.py run server. All right. So you can see now it is telling that starting development environment at HTTP 127.0.0.1.8,000. That means if we open up this particular port, right, this particular URL right now, HTTP 127.0.0.1.8,000 colon 8,000, and here you go. You can see a paging is trying to load. Oh, actually it loaded actually. Yeah, I don't know what it was trying to load. But anyway, so if this page is coming up, then you should be very sure that actually your Django installation is perfect. So we can see that the Django installation is perfect. This rocket is kind of set up to move or something like that. So this is what it is, right? This is what it is. So now we have to start coding on this particular thing. Of course, we shall not be coding in command prompt, even though we may. There is no problem in that. We shall do something better basically. So let us go ahead and let us try to create our first application using Django. Okay. How is this thing not working? I'm trying to break it. This break is failing. Okay. This thing and handle request self wrong. Okay. What happened? Return self suck. Okay. The connection about error. Mr. connection about the software in a host machine. Right. So this control C took this much amount of time to get affected. So now you can see we're perfectly over here and you can start our first applications. Python manage.py start app and then your application name. So let's say my application name is going to be Hello World, for example. Right? If I do that, you will see there is a new folder called Hello World. Here we go. Hello World, right? So this guy came into picture, new this thing. This also has all the files in it and admin and all those things. This will always be there, right? So model, tests, views, all these files will always be there. They let them be there over there, not an issue. So I'll tell you what these files have, by the way. The init is basically whenever there is a file in a particular directory, that directory is considered as a Python package. That's it, nothing else. This file we are probably not going to touch at all. The admin.py, this file contains all the Django admin page settings basically. Right? So you will understand that when you'll see it. The application configuration is stored in your apps.py file. Now models is basically, there is a concept of model view. So that is being used over here. Models are here and views are here. So model, you can consider like this in the database. Let's say, for example, you're trying to make a online e-commerce kind of setup. So in an e-commerce, just think about it. What all things are participating in that e-commerce application? In an e-commerce application, what kind of entities participate? One is your users, right? So there will be the admin users, there will be the customers. So user is one sort of a model. I mean the entities which participate, your products are one model. So users and products they kind of interact with each other, right? Users buy products, users reject products, this and that. So these are all models. The entities which are participating in forming a, once again, once you see the examples, you will understand. Now the your views, right? I'll come to tests. Your views contains the HTML template. HTML template in the sense when you see something, that is basically HTML, right? So this template will be contained in your views, like how to render an HTML, some things like that. And you've got tests over there. The tests will be containing the test cases. The test cases for testing on the application, unit tests basically. So this is your application. Let's now see if I show you this one, web project one. This was having different things. Even though it had a underscore in it, but the other stuffs are different. And this is an application, Hello World. So now Hello World is a web application. This was the project. In a project, there can be multiple applications. So this is your application right now. Okay. I think I can open up this entire thing on your PyCharm. I think I can do that. Let us see if I can. Let's open up PyCharm. I shall stop the server. No? So right now, if I refresh it, nothing will happen basically. It is not there anymore. Okay. So you can see render project has been copied over here perfectly. Virtual environment, every single thing, right? And manage.py. So we shall go to this one first. Settings.py. Okay. In the settings.py, if you see, there are a lot of things written, installed applications and all those things. Along with that, I will be adding the Hello World app as well. So the app I'm creating, right? Hello World. Whenever you're creating an app, you have to go and add it over there. Remember, in the installed app section, right? Just end with a comma. This comma is required. I mean, if you don't give, then also it is fine, but just go ahead and give it. Right. So that's it. Save this file, settings.py, and your model is good to go. Let us start by creating a view. Okay. So we'll go to the views.py. This one, let us go over here and let us start by creating a view. So you can see it is telling create your views here, right? So let us go ahead and let's create a view. So first of all, I would require to import, see this is there, right? Already it is imported from Django shortcuts, import render. So render can be used to show an HTML page. Let us try to see how to do that. So let's say I'm writing a function with the name definition hello world. Okay, the same name I'm writing, whatever I wrote there. Definition hello world, and in the function I'm writing, I'm just returning. Let's say render. You can see this is coming up render. So it requires a request object to render, right? So some request that has come to you that you have to render back. So the request, how will you accept? You have to accept it through the parameter. Write down request over here. So this request, let's say, is coming. We'll see how we can use this function. Request template name context. Now see this. Request is request. Then comes the template name. Now either you have a template with yourself any HTML file. In case you do not have, then you can do a wonderful thing. You can just create a HTML file. Just over here, you can create an HTML. Then let us say if I have an HTML file, then I can mention the HTML file name. Let's say, my HTML, or let's say hello world.html. This is one thing you can do. You can mention the HTML file name, or else what you can do directly, you can write an HTML over here, like h1 tag and the text and the h. This also works, but this is very difficult, right? I mean, how can you keep on writing a complete HTML file over here? So it is better that you give a HTML name. Okay, so I'll say hello world dot html. This is the name I'm giving over here. And then comes the context. The context is basically a dictionary. So you may or may not write it. I'm just leaving it a blank dictionary. That's it. I'm not writing anything. Okay. So now this particular thing, see what is happening. I have defined a view function with the name hello world. So whenever this function will be called, this function will try to render hello world. That's what I have told. We are not calling the function. Neither we have this file so far, the hello world.html as of now. So this particular function is there. And now see what is happening. This request parameter that you are seeing over here, right? So this request parameter is an HTTP request object. That is the type of this particular parameter, right? So HTTP request object. So whenever the page will be loaded, I mean, page is loaded in the sense you go to browser and hit it, right? So our page is loaded. So automatically it will be creating a HTTP request object for you, right? So whenever the page is loaded, there it will be created automatically. It will be having all the, since it is request objects, all the request related information will be stored inside this particular thing, right? Say get request or post request, what the request is routed to. So you'll understand about get and post later. So there can be different kinds of this particular thing. So depending upon that, it is happening. Let us quickly create an hello world HTML page over there, right? So if you see in my hello world, right, I'll be creating a new folder called templates over here. Okay, I'll call it templates. And with the templates folder, I'll be creating all my templates. So I'm going to create a new HTML file and to call that thing, let's say hello world HTML. Okay, so it comes with the title. Let's call this thing hello world app. Okay, and write down over here that hello world. Okay, that's it. This is your HTML. So what I did basically, we just created the hello world HTML and stored it inside the templates folder, right? That's what I've done. Why I did this? Because whenever this render function is called, the render function by default tries to find out the templates folder. If there is no templates folder, then this will not be served. Okay, so that is why we created the templates folder, and from there we are serving this particular thing. Now we need to also specify that when this particular hello world function will be called and all those things that I have to mention, because we're just saying that if the hello world function is called, please show the hello world page. But when will the function be called? That also I have to tell, right? So how do I tell that? What do I do about that? I will be going to URLs over here in your project URLs, right? So I'll just close the other things. In the project URLs, what I want to do, so you can see it is importing a lot of things over here, right? It is importing the Django URLs from the path, right? So this is very important. So over here, let me import another particular thing, right? From Django URLs, import path, and there is another one known as include. Okay, let me take this one also. I'll tell you what this thing will do basically. So you can see it's telling that whenever the path is admin site URLs should be loaded over here. I'll be adding another one, see, path. So whatever the path is, right? Anything the path is, I want to include hello world dot URLs. And that is the reason I imported include. What happens in include? Include is like that whenever you are loading this particular path, whatever the path you're writing, now here it is blank, means at the start. Whenever you're loading a particular path, please include the hello world URLs as well, right? So what are hello world URLs? What are they? So inside hello world, we have to create a module called URLs. We have not yet created it, but we want it to be accepted over here when you create that. So you'll be creating a new module over there, right? We'll be definitely creating a new module. I mean a Python file. Basically, let's create it over here. I'm going to calling this thing urls.py. So that is what hello world.urls is. Means what? Hello world folder within that URLs. So let us create the hello world URLs. Now what we shall be doing, we shall be again, I'll import it over here. I'll need it over here because I need to use path. Okay. And from the hello world directory, I want to import the views also over here because this URLs is kind of binding between the things. So I'll be requiring to from hello world, right? Import okay, views. I'm taking views also. Remember what views does? Views just render something, right? That means I can call this function. Now that I've imported views, I can call the functions of views. That is why I'm importing because I want to bind it. Okay, how am I going to bind it? Say it. So you can see if you come back over here, it is written like URL patterns. This is the format. This is how you write it. So we are creating a separate URLs module for our Hello World application, so that now no matter how many applications we have, we could have written everything here also. Instead of including the Hello World URL, I could have directly written it here. But the problem is when Hello World will be having a lot of URLs, and let's say we'll be having a lot of functions, so everybody's URLs will be written over here. It will be a very big mess. So it is better to write their own URLs within their own folders and just include it over here. So if I want to, let's say I have got Hello World, I have got my project, I have got Hello Hi project, something. Multiple projects are there, multiple applications are there. If there are multiple applications, then the problem that we'll be having is that when we go for multiple applications and you have, let's say in each application 10 different paths, so 30 paths, 3 applications you're writing over here, better you just write 3 lines, include this one, include that one. If you want to delete something, not include something, you can just delete that particular line and it will be working out instead of writing everything over here. That will also have the same effect, but you don't want to do that. So here what we shall be doing, here we shall not be using include. We don't need to include over here. So now here we are saying that, so I want to operate on the blank path. Blank path means what? Means in the home, right? See what I want to do. I have imported views. So let me use the views. Okay. Views dot and the function name is hello world, right? You can either directly write right over here, or you can go like views hello world name equal to hello world. This will also work out. Now see what is happening. I'm just calling this particular function. That's it. Nothing else, right? If I go ahead and hit my server on port number 8080, right? That is where it runs. If I go and hit my server on port number 80, let me start the server once again. Yeah, the server is running. If I go ahead and hit the server on port number 8000, whatever it was running, 197.0.0.8000, this time what it will do, since on the blank, let me first show you what happens. It shows hello world application, hello world, right? So you're rendering our first page. So what did it do over here? See. So first time when this particular thing is hitting, then what is happening? See, this is actually coming over here. So I'm telling on blank, right? I could have told that when I hit, let's say, hello world in the browser, then you show the hello world URL. Now I'm not saying that. I'm saying by default you need to take. So these are the URL patterns it is following. Okay. So when you're writing include something, that simply means while running, this line is simply getting copied over here. That's it. Okay. So you can see that on blank, we are calling hello world function. And hello world function is present where? Inside views. What does it do? It renders. What does it render? Hello world HTML. Where is the hello world HTML? Under templates. Here is the hello world HTML. So this is the hello world. And that is what is being displayed over here. If we change the text from hello world to, let's say, hello earth, for example, simply, if I do that, and I refresh, you'll see it is showing hello earth. But let us get it back to hello world. So you can understand it is coming from there. It is getting rendered over there. We created a project folder. Within that, we initiated a project over here, right? So we initiated a project. So in this project folder, the project got initialized over here. So once I created this web proj one, so this proj one folder is now being treated as a project, basically. And then I have to start application. So this is my application name, hello world. So this web project one is just like a settings kind of stuff, these things. So let them be over here. This hello world is the application that I have created. And within that application, I have got a template folder where I have the HTML files, other files over here, whatever files I require. So this particular file, whenever there is a hello world function call, so that means we required to do the function call. Where did we do? We created a file called URLs. Within the URLs, we did the function called over here. And we called the function called hello world. As soon as we called the function called hello world, what it did, it came back over here inside views. It ran this function called this file, which is this one, and this got displayed. That's it. So when you create any project, remember the thing that you need to do, you need to include it over here. If you delete something over here, then that application will not be considered anymore. That application will not be considered anymore if you write a project over here. In case you do not write it, will not be considered. In case you write it, then you will be able to use that particular project specific stuffs in your this entire web project. So when I'm saying project specific stuffs, I mean the application specific. So your application name is hello world. Okay, I can create multiple applications within this particular project. One project can contain multiple applications, right? That is the basically microservices architecture more or less. Okay, so in one project we can have multiple applications, and all those applications can talk to each other. That is so Django by default uses the microservices architecture. Microservice architecture simply means when you have multiple applications communicating with each other. That is called a microservice architecture. So here we have created one application. We can keep on creating as many applications as we want, right? So you just need the terminal. As of now, I will keep it very simple and keep it till over here. So we have understood the how to set up an web application, and we have understood how to show a web page, at least a very basic web page. Now if I make this web page a lot of things, I put it over here, then it will become a lot of things. But I can do that. I can just copy a wonderful looking web page and paste it over here. But I just created a very basic one that just says hello world. We can do a lot of things with this.